name is Damilola Ogunshaki. We begin with the front pages of the dailies this morning, starting with Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with uncertainty rules currency market as external reserves rise. Volume of dollars traded down 3% to $2.14 billion. Why sudden massive crash of Naira? That's according to analysts. One of further depreciation and adverse impact on economy. You can see that on page 19, and here there's a picture showing former editor of Vanguard newspaper, Mr. Mideno, publisher Vanguard newspaper, Mr. Sam Mamuka, and governor of Delta State, Sheriff, when the governor paid a private visit to Elder Apollo at his Sapele residence, Delta State, yesterday. At Presidency, Atiku fight over Tinubu's economic policies. Tinubu's economic policy dashing up, that's according to Atiku, ex-vice president offering uninformed intervention on economy, that's from the presidency. On page 8, 8,100 Naira levy. Students in Lagos schools may miss WAEC registration. And here on page 16, according to Lakemfa, conscientious Nigerians, Methodists worldwide, and the Lagos state government need to join the old boys in assuring that not an inch of the NBHS lands is stolen under any guise. And on sports, Persists plots South Africa's fall in semis. On page 6, driver killed as abducted Ekiti pupils, teachers regain freedom. On page 28, rerun by elections, mixed fortunes as 5 parties win seats. Stories above the banner. On page 4, Shell plants gas supply to Dangote's fertilizers plants. Blackout, power grid collapses again, first in 2024. 723 schools closed in 9 states over insecurity and others. That's according to UNICEF. Lastly, on Vanguard, brain drain, over 500 workers left National Hospital in 2 years. That's according to CMD. You can see that on page 4. Now the Guardian. Guardian is leading with a duty increase. Spot FX rate adoption through market into panic. You can see that on page 6. The deadly Ibadan explosion matters arising. That can be seen on editorial page 12. And on news analysis page 4, kidnapping epidemic, a failure of intelligence action at federal capital. Your policies promoting despair, Atiku tells Tinubu. Abducted Ekiti state school children, teachers regain freedom, the driver killed. 3 weeks after, new heads of culture agencies yet to take over. World Cancer Day, high cost of care worsens epidemic, 78,899 deaths toll yearly. 500 workers left National Hospital in 2 years, CMD lament. You can see that on page 5. Now the Punch newspaper. Punch is leading with kidnapping epidemic, fundraising for ransom persists. Ekiti pupils families pay 15 million naira. Victims' relatives, friends, neighbors raised ransom. School driver killed. That's according to proprietor. Kidnappers slaying Kwara monarchs windows ransom to 40 million naira. Suspect arrested. You can see that on pages 2, 25 and 28. Power generation crashes to 59 MW as grid collapses again. NSCDC trains vigilantes to secure 821,000 vulnerable schools. You can see that on page 7. 10 hospitalized as police cult groups clash in Lagos schools. You can see that on pages 4 and 5 and stories above the banner. Federal government state debt near 107 trillion naira. Therefore, raises loans. Lastly, on the Punch newspaper, Tinubu Obasanjo, world leaders mourn Namibia president. You can see that on page 22. Now the nation. Nation is leading with 0 megawatts to discos, cripples homes and businesses. Ministries, firms disagree on cause of failure. Minister in frantic meetings. Driver shot dead, body burnt before abducted Ekiti pupils. Parents, we paid ransom made to walk long distance in the forest. You can see that on page 2. Ex-Governor Abba Ibrahim dies at 73. You can see that on page 9. APC retains 59 Senate seats with wins in Ebonyi South, Yobe North. YPP floors Soludo's Apga in Anambra. Ex-IG son victory excites Ayoda Tiwa. You can see that on page 4. Stories above the banner. How kidnappers exploit financial systems loopholes. Okay, I have told Ayoda Tiwa I am running for APC ticket. You can see that on page 27 of the Nation newspaper. And that's all we have on the front pages of the dailies this morning. Join us after the break for the analysis. Welcome back. If you're just joining me, this is Today Leaders of Vanguard Life. My name is Damilola Okunshaki. Joining us to analyze the front pages of the dailies this morning is Mr. Ali Mohammed. He's now the CEO of Magnet Communications, former editor of Daily Times and Concord newspaper. Good morning, Mr. Ali.
Good morning, Damilola. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And how are you enjoying the weather?
I'm not enjoying it. We are just inhaling dry dust, very dry. I'm not enjoying it at all.
All right, let's move straight to the front pages of the dailies. And Vanguard, I led with the story of currency. Well, now there is heightened uncertainty in the currency market over the fortunes of the naira this week, with investment analysts highlighting factors that will trigger a further depreciation, as well as the impact on Nigerians and the economy. Now we've seen recently the way the naira have been falling. What do you think about this naira depreciation, and what exactly do you think is causing it?
Thank you, Damilola. First and foremost, I want to say that there is a mistake in allowing the naira to float. By floating, that means there is no control. There is no CBN control on how much the naira should be against the dollars. It is not a good economic decision. No country leaves its currency to float. Let me cite the example of Ghana. Ghana had this kind of problems years ago. Dollar was more like a toilet paper. The government went ahead to redenominate the cedis. They were redenominated, the currencies were redenominated, and today, if you look at the rate of the dollar to cedis, the gap is not too much. You don't leave your currency to the forces of demand and supply. We have hawks monitoring the naira, and these hawks are determined to ensure that the economy will never be stable, and it has not been stable since the naira was floated by this government. These are people who have money in billions. They have naira in billions. They have dollar in billions. They will work to ensure that the naira remains extremely weak against the dollar, and that is what we are experiencing. They know that the only source of dollar, the dollar currency that we have, is NNPC, and that is why the government said no, CBN should take over the accounts of the NNPC, the crude oil sales from the NNPC, thinking that it would improve the rate of the naira against the dollar. No, it won't. The government must intervene. Otherwise, in the next 1 or 2 weeks, we will have the dollar going up to 1,900 or 2,000 against $1 if care is not taken. Because you see, you don't leave your currency to the forces of demand and supply. There are people who are ready to ensure that the rate of the naira to the dollar do not come down until they have crippled the economy of this country. We don't give them a chance in this kind of situation that we have found ourselves. We have to sit down and work assiduously to ensure that things change, because this thing is having effect on every facet of the economy. The gari seller has increased her gari. I wanted to buy a tin of gari. which used to be 18,000. Last weekend, it was 22,000. I asked the woman, what has the dollar got to do with that you produce in the... That is the kind of situation we have in Nigeria. If you ask the pepper seller why she increased the cost of her pepper, I say, dollar, no, do you spend dollar to import? That is the level of impact that dollar is having on our economy. Why? Because those in government prefer to spend dollar as against our national currency. Ministers, government appointees, they all go about spending dollars now. Dollars that we have to work very hard to earn. We are not encouraging exports. A friend sent some foodstuff. I have said this before. Created them and they were to be sent abroad. For 3 weeks they were at the airport, being investigated and inspected by different government organizations, from customs to NAFDAC to there are some quarantine. They will raise questions and say, you can't send this as it is. You will go and explain. When we are free from those ones, customs will raise its own issues. For 3 weeks, those foodstuffs got perished. At whose cost? So we have to be careful the way we manage our economy. Look, some countries encourage exports. If you have tomato, without any hindrance, you can take them out. If you want to earn the dollar, you must encourage exports. Not that you are sitting only on oil as your major source of foreign exchange. It is not right.
All right. You talked about marketers increasing their price, but some of them, I spoke to one of the marketers yesterday, and she was telling me that the transport, that means when they transport this to the market, it actually adds to what they are selling. They try to add it to the cost of the goods. Now for BRT, that's the government boss now, they go for as high as 800 naira, and for someone to take in their market to their goods to the market to sell, definitely they want to add this to their products.
Like I said here before, I am not a supporter of this system of giving cash to the people. You know what has happened to the cash that have been earmarked for the less privileged. You know what has happened to it. I don't want to go into that. That volume of money can give us more buses. I am telling you, if we have 200 buses for each state, not 200 is even too much, 100 buses for each state by the federal government, the transportation cost that we are talking about will go down automatically.
Mr. Neil, before now, the BRT was not up to this. Now the government brought in more, and people expected the price to crash, but instead it increased. I mean, during the election they subsidized it, but now it's back to normal rate. But instead of it even going back to normal rate, it went higher.
It's gone up. It is unfortunate that we have that situation with a state-run organization, transport organization. It is unfortunate. The states must ensure that whatever services they are rendering to the public come with some relief. Not that you start competing with private transportation owners. You don't. I mean, what profit do you want to make? You have used government money to purchase buses and you want to make profit. Even if you must make profit, not such a heavy profit that will have impact on those who are using the buses. There must be some level. People said, okay, no subsidy on oil. If you say no subsidy on oil, fine. Let there be subsidy in transportation. I have seen people this morning on my way who couldn't get buses trekking. If somebody is going to work from Ikeja to Obanikoro, for instance, and he treks from Ikeja to Obanikoro, you can be sure that that day is wasted. He won't be able to do any work. So we have to be careful. The state governments have to be careful of how they increase the cost of transportation in each state. The common man should at least have some level of comfort. Unlike what is obtainable now, there is no comfort for the common man. Everywhere is tensed up. People have been, a lot of people have been turned to beggars. The government must do something about this. People beg for money openly now. People that you don't expect could beg for money. They are begging for money everywhere. So we have to be really careful. I fear that the consequences of this may not be too palatable if we allow it to persist.
It's still talking about the economy now. Because of what is going on, foreign investors now they are becoming disinterested in investing in the economy. Now, even the former Vice President Atiku, he claims that the private sector is shrinking and that multinational companies are leaving companies in droves. But the presidency is saying that these are not grounded on facts.
You see, with all sense of responsibility, I want to say that there has been a lot of apprehension by Nigerians living abroad about the situation of things in this country. We shouldn't start painting a bad situation in a good way. No, the situation is not too good. Look at two traditional rulers were killed just like that. It is unheard of in this part of the world that traditional rulers will be killed. They went into the palace of a traditional ruler in Kwara State, killed him and kidnapped the wife. Then who is safe? It is disturbing. Somebody was coming to Nigeria from New York. He started sending messages that is it safe for me to come? He was coming for the first time. Is it safe for me to come? Suddenly he sent me a mail that he was not coming anymore. Same goes with investors. We were dealing with some people from Spain. They were supposed to visit and see the projects that they are coming here to do. That visit has been suspended because of what they read from Nigeria every day. You know, when you are discussing with people from abroad on projects, they will Google and see what is going on in that country. The feedback they got, they sent some of them to me. Number of people killed in Abuja, people going, and Abuja was one of the states that these people are supposed to visit. They cancelled the visit automatically. No, because we are here that we know that Lagos is safe relatively than other states. To those who are abroad, it's like Nigeria is at war. We must change this definition, evil definition that is being given to Nigeria. I don't know how can bandits or kidnappers or by whatever name attack people, kidnap them, and people go back to deliver money to them, and there is no attempt by our security agencies to track those people who are coming to collect money. You can't do that in other parts of the world. I saw a video on Cote d'Ivoire, how they track criminals on with CCTV. They track criminals. If you kidnap within hours, you would have been arrested. So that monitoring system brought down the level of crime in that country. Can we say that we don't have CCTVs in Nigeria? Can we say that we don't have intelligence agencies in Nigeria? Can we say that we don't have secret policemen in Nigeria anymore? What are they doing? People will be kidnapped and ransom will be collected safely without anybody following up. It is embarrassing. I have a feeling that those who are sponsoring these kidnappers have some other jobs that is known or that are known to them alone. It is unfortunate that we hear this kind of sad stories about Nigeria every day.
Now, what do you think about the presidency's reaction to the things going on in the country? One of the things they said was that Atiku's claims that the government's policies have created intense cost of living pressures are not grounded on facts. They claim that the recent comparative cost of living indices show that Nigerians still enjoy the lowest cost of living in Africa.
That is not true. That is not true. They should come down to Isaleko and see what is going on there. I mean, some of them grow up there. Why would somebody sit in the villa and be talking like this? So what do you think about their reaction? They have access to the common man. They don't. We are the ones living with them. I know the volume of requests that I take every day from people, not people who don't know, close relations. I can't feed. No food in the house. My children have not eaten. You know, when you hear such a thing, you become very sad and even become afraid of what is going on around you. There could be a massive revolt if care is not taken. If those in power speaks like this, then I don't know if there is any hope for the poor. That Nigeria still have the highest level of what? Highest level of. I know it is embarrassing. That means they don't really know what is going on.
Lowest cost of living in Africa.
Lowest cost of living. When people can't even feed. Like, how do they talk like this? Is it that those who got into the villa less than a year ago have been so cut off from the people that you don't know what is going on? It is unfortunate. I don't want to respond to them because some of them are my colleagues in the media. So let's just
All right, we're talking about the insecurity in the country. Well, despite the warnings by the federal government against crowdfunding for ransom, well, the parties has continued to gain ground with abductees and their families raising funds from relatives, friends, and social media now to secure the release of kidnapped victims. And in Ekiti State, the pupils and teachers of the school in Ekiti, who were abducted last week, they regained their freedom in the early hours of Sunday, and they said that the kidnappers freed the abductees after collecting 15 million naira and other items, which includes fried rice, malt drinks, energy drinks, and cigarettes.
See, it is difficult to put yourself in the shoes of somebody whose husband, wife, or children have been kidnapped. It can only be imagined. What they go through can only be imagined. If the police says don't give ransom, and the police is not doing anything to free the people in detention, you know the way these people behave. They will call you, put the phone on speaker, and you will be hearing the groaning of either your husband, your child, or your wife. How will you feel? And somebody is saying don't go and look for ransom. May we not be in the shoes of those whose relatives have been kidnapped? It is better said than done. You know, they are saying don't pay ransom. What is the police doing to free them? Nothing. And every day they keep receiving phone calls, listening to the torture and the beatings those who have been kidnapped are going through. My sister, you will be forced to look for whatever the kidnappers want and give it to them so that your people could be freed. So I don't know what the police will be saying that they shouldn't pay ransom. What is the alternative? The alternative way of freeing those people if ransom is not paid? No. If you want to say that those whose families or relatives have been kidnapped should not pay ransom, let us have the clear-cut steps that you are taking to free them. There is nothing like that. And you think people will listen to you? They won't listen. We are all human beings now. Somebody that you know his or her voice being tortured on phone and you are hearing it, you will break down crying. So you won't have a choice to start moving around to plead with people to contribute for you. So I don't accept the position of the security agency saying that people should not pay ransom. What are the options that they have?
Let's even talk about the security agencies. One of the officers telling Nigerians that they don't have enough tracking device, and they want people to go to private investigators that when they are done.
How much do you need to acquire tracking equipment in the state where one person is stealing 30 billion? Kind of embarrassment is that? That statement is embarrassing. How much does it take to acquire tracking equipment? Damilola, answer now. Where one person have access to 30 billion that is being wasted on frivolities? We should stop talking about we don't have tracking equipment. No. Is it that the country don't have the money to do it? Or the money has been voted and gone into the pocket of one person? I don't believe what they are saying. Why would you not have money to get tracking it? That means the lives of the people is not important to the government. That statement is an embarrassment to the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that they can't acquire tracking equipment. Individuals, private individuals, acquire tracking equipment in their homes, fix CCTV everywhere. Anywhere they are, they can monitor their homes. Even if you are abroad, you can monitor your home. So why will government not be able to acquire tracking equipment? I don't believe that statement. It's an embarrassment to the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that the government can't acquire tracking equipment. That means the safety of lives and property is not considered as a priority to the government. I disagree with that statement.
Okay, let's talk about this one. Well, more than 500 personnel of the National Hospital, Abuja, NHA, left its services in search of greener pastures in the last 2 years. And that's what the Chief Medical Director disclosed. He said that most of them went to abroad in search of better working conditions.
How much is your minimum salary, minimum wage? 30,000 in this economy. And what can 30,000 do to anybody, to even a small girl? 30,000 is nothing. We should give these people what is called living wage. 30,000 is long overdue for a review. Government is just joking with the lives of people. It is unfortunate that at this age and time, we still have 30,000 naira as the national minimum wage. And you expect that people will not go abroad. They will go, and they will feel more comfortable doing 2 shifts every day and earning more money than to stay in government hospitals in Nigeria to earn 30,000 naira per month. Until we take serious measures to ensure that workers earn good salary in Nigeria, we continue to have that kind of movement from Nigeria to other parts of the world. Go to passport offices and see how busy the places are. All passport offices, you see a lot of people there every morning. Everybody just wants to get out of this country. People have lost faith in the country. That is the truth of the matter. We shouldn't deceive ourselves. It takes a lot of encouragement and, in fact, courage to live in Nigeria now. It takes a lot of courage. Everybody, even small children, want to go. You've taken your son or your daughter out on holidays. He doesn't want to come back to Nigeria. So what is that?
Let's end this on a lighter note with Mr. and Mrs. this morning. And the first person is speaking is Mrs. Mrs. says, I saw your friend running after the lady. Why are men talking about women with heavy bust lines? And Mr. says, dear, it's important for a man to find solace in a woman's bosom before resting in the bosom of the Lord.
That is a good reply.
Very good one. Bosom of the Lord. Thank you for joining us this morning, Mr. Ali.
You're most welcome.
Do also like and follow us on all our social media platforms showing on your screen on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. My name is Dambola Ogunshaki. Have a lovely Monday.